So the next thing I want to show you is solo defeat and record disable. So I have a project set up here. Let's say I want to solo my drums at all times. So I can solo the vocal while still hearing the drums or the bass, guitars, and keys, but at all times, always hearing the drums. Of course, we could solo the drums and just solo what else we want to hear, maybe the bass, or the vocal.
You got someone new, I know it.
But a better and more effective way of doing this is to solo defeat our drums. So we can select all the drum tracks, right-click the solo button, and choose solo defeat, which defeats the solo for those tracks. Notice how the solo button looks locked. So if we solo any other tracks, these tracks will still be heard. Where typically, when we hit solo, it just plays those tracks. So if I solo the bass, we're going to hear the drums and the bass. Or the vocal.
Yeah, but I will keep on denying.
Or the guitar and piano.
My emotions.
So at all times, regardless of what track we solo, we're also going to hear the drums without having to solo the drums. And to undo it, just select them again and right-click and turn this feature off. This is also useful if we create tracks for a talkback mic, whether it be in the control room or the live room. Let's make a new track. Let's name it talkback. We'll put this track into record, set our input where our vocal mic is plugged in, and let's say we want to hear this mic at all times. So the control room can hear the live room or vice versa. Typically, if we soloed our tracks, we're not going to hear the talkback mic. So we'd need to solo this one as well. That's where this feature comes in. Just right-click, solo defeat. Now if I solo my drums, we're going to hear the talkback mic along with our drums, or the vocal, or any other track we solo. This is also useful for MIDI. Let's say we set this up for the input to be MIDI. Let's put an instrument on this track with a piano sound. Let's say we want to hear that track at all times as a reference for other things that are playing. Maybe checking the key, trying out some melodies.
You got someone new, I know it. Yeah, but I will keep.
And if we solo any other tracks, let's solo the vocal and the drums, typically the piano won't be heard. If this feature wasn't turned on, we would play this.
You got someone new, I know it.
And we wouldn't hear the piano. So if we want to hear this MIDI instrument all the time, we could use that feature, solo defeat. And now, even with our tracks in solo, we're still going to hear this track.
You got someone new, I know it. Yeah, but I will keep on denying. Yeah.
So even if we solo any other tracks, we're always going to hear this track, whether it be MIDI or a talkback mic or any input we want, which brings up the other feature, record disable. Let's unsolo our tracks. Let's say I wanted to record some vocals. If I put this track into record, this track is also in record, whether it's set up for MIDI or audio. So if we go into record to record some vocal, it's also going to record on this track, whether it be a talkback mic, instrument, maybe some hardware effects, or MIDI. If we don't want that, and we just want to use it as an input, we need to have this track in record in order to hear it, but we can right-click it and choose record disable, input monitoring only. And if we choose this, the record button looks different. Now if we go into record, we can record our vocals, and it won't record our talkback, our listen back mic, or any MIDI or input we set up on this track. So we can use this track for a reference, or a talkback mic, or listen back mic, while recording our vocals. Go into record. And it just records on this track. It doesn't record our talkback track, or if we set this up to MIDI for our piano, it's not going to record any MIDI while we record our vocals, or anything else we mean to record. So it's a great way of separating specific tracks, not to be recorded and always set so we could hear their input.